nice and early to have all of you in the room. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another virtual event, courtesy of Beyond Education. Guys, you know how we do, you know what we do. Please put your names and your LinkedIn's in the group chat, get to know each other, get to connect with each other. I'll start off first. I am Demi. I'm founder associate here at Beyond Education. So please, you're not just here to learn about how to put in your best application, but also how to connect. This is a networking session as well. So please put in your LinkedIn's in the chat, say hello, and we'll be starting in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, guys. Thank you so much, Janelle, for putting on your camera. Thank you so much, Abdullah, for putting your LinkedIn. See, thank you so much, Abolade, as well. More people are joining in now, so hello, Rabin. How are you doing today? Hello, Adiat. Hello, Jamil. It's wonderful. Welcome, everybody. Hey, should I wait for more people? I think we should start. This is a very insightful session. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Demi. I am founder associate here at Beyond Education, and welcome to HSBC's application prep session. This is a very important session. A lot of you guys might have joined us from Tuesday, where we had the employee introduction session. We had the HSBC team, both from London and Birmingham, here joining us, and they spoke a lot about their internships and grad sessions that they have available now. If you're part of the Discord, part of the newsletter, you would know that applications went live this morning. Some internships and grads placements are already out. So today is a very insightful session. I'm joined by Abolade, founder of Faux Perspectives, and he is the all-round person for this. He knows everything about CVs, cover letters, all the things you need to make sure that you're putting the best application forward for HSBC. He has got you today. So without further ado, I'm not going to take you guys' time. I'm introducing Agbolade to lead today's session. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Demi, for the introduction. Lovely to meet all of you today. I'm Agbolade. I'm the founder of FO Perspective. So we're like a career coaching and also early careers company. So we support young people with their career development. For no further ado, I will go straight into our deck and get started. So guys, let me know when you can see my screen, and then we will get into it.
I can see your screen. That's good.
Perfect. Great. Cool. So as I said, guys, who we are, our FO Perspectives, we're an early careers consultancy. Well, it's currently a team of 4 of us here. So we do a lot of work supporting young people with their career development, industry graduate schemes. In regards to the team, a lot of experience working across banking, consulting. So I used to work at Accenture, also used to work at Wellington Management. That's my grad job. And at university, I did an internship at BlackRock, and then helped a lot of students, again, breaking sort of like finance, consulting, etc. But yeah, so you got a bit of experience within this space. But I guess sort of what we're here for today actually is talking about CVs. So my first question to all of you now is, in the chat, just let me know, one sentence, what do you think the purpose of a CV is? I'll give you guys half a minute. Just put in the chat what you think a CV is, or the purpose of it is. Cool. To sell yourself. Sales just to get to know candidates. Okay, seen some good ones there. CV shows professional information, your portfolio. Okay, some interesting form, digital form of experience to see my skills. Okay, so I think quite a lot of you are touching it there, and a really important part into like selling yourself and skills. So in my eyes, a CV essentially is 2 or 4 or 5 key things, but the key terminology or the key line of 3 things you see here is about selling yourself. Firstly, your CV is a chance for you to develop a story of excellence surrounding yourself. So I always say your CV is essentially one page where from the top to the end, is just a strand of information. It should be like this person's a high performer, this person added value that actually excels in what they do. Linked to that is the second is important about displaying your skills and competencies. So when a recruiter looks at your CV, they want to see whether or not you have the relevant skills, the relevant competencies to actually do the role you're actually applying for. So again, it's your chance to show to them that I have what you're looking for on the job description, showing them my CV. That means I can actually do this job. Thirdly, as people mentioned, it's also to highlight your achievements and the value that you can bring. So again, your CV isn't necessarily for you to just list what you've done in the past. If we just sort of demonstrate and show them and craft around the actual impact and achievements you've done, that will translate into the role they're actually looking to apply for. Fourth, really, really important, especially if you're a graduate, is showing how well-rounded you are. Because one thing you will see, I'll touch on it later, but one thing people always seem to misunderstand is that like academics isn't the be all and end all. Like that is part of the story. The other half is like who are you as a person, aka your extracurriculars. So also really good chance to sort of show how well-rounded you are as a person when it comes to academics and non-academics. And then lastly, sort of summarize it, you're essentially selling yourself to a recruiter. At the end of the day, you're being quite transparent. It's your chance to sort of show the recruiter why you, instead of the other 1,000 applicants, 2,000 applicants who are applying for that role. So if I want to say take one thing away from today in terms of what a CV is, see it as a one-page sales document. And that's something I'm actually gonna influence how we go through this whole deck and talk through about CVs. Perfect. So when it comes to the sort of CV, I would say there's sort of five key features you should always think about for starting out CV because outside there's a lot of information in regards to what a CV should look like, how long it should be, how short it should be, what you should put on. I say if you have these five things on a CV, you're more or less on the right track for having a strong CV. So let's sort of go through it. First one is keep it to one page. Now, for students and graduates, why I say this is important is because at this stage of your career, you're unlikely to have tons and tons of experience that you need to have more than one page. But most importantly, why I always say to you to put one page is that it forces you to be concise. I will actually taught this in my careers in consulting, but it actually aligns for CVs, and that is when you're sort of writing down bullet points and writing anything down, always ask yourself this question I've got in quotation marks here. Essentially is can I convey my point in as least words as possible? Essentially, can I get straight to the point in sort of demonstrating to them in that bullet points the skills, impact, and achievements I've had? At university, they kind of teach you the wrong way around where you sort of taught how to like write long prose, write like for 5K essays, 10K essays. CV is the complete opposite. It's about being concise, it's about being straight to the point and letting them see very quickly what they're looking for in terms of the right transferable skills and impacts. Perfect. Second one, very simple, but honestly, people overlook it, especially when it comes to companies like HSBC, where there's a lot of it's around financial services and banking. Consistent and simple layout and format. You don't need any sort of like fancy Canva layout. You don't need anything that sort of like has different colors. Keep it really simple and easy. Why I say that is because what you actually don't realize is that on average, recruiters spend roughly around 10 seconds looking at CV before like having an initial indication of whether or not they're going to move forward with it. So what does that mean? You need to lay your CV out in a way that is very easy for them, for their eyes to see the relevant information as quick as possible. And on the next slide, I'll sort of show you what it looks like. But the most important part here is having the same layout, the same format, so using the same fonts, using the same spacing in between, and having consistent headers that helps them signpost very quickly your education, your work experience, your skills, extracurriculars, and just makes it as easy as possible for them to see the information they need to see. Third one's focusing on skills developed, not listing tasks. Now, again, we'll touch on this later, but again, why is this really important? Because your CV isn't essentially a document to describe what you've done. Honestly, I'll be honest with you guys, at this sort of stage of your career, companies don't really care what you've done per se. That's not what they're actually looking for. Well, yes, some roles they may ask for having prior experience. Most of the time, what they're actually looking for from you is what transferable skills have you got from what you've done that is applicable for the role you're applying for. That's what they really care about. So when we're writing your bullet points, you should write your bullet from the point of view of what skill am I demonstrating in this bullet point, not okay, what have I done in this role that I'm going to try to write down. And that when you sort of use that sort of mindset, it helps you a lot more to write stronger bullet points. Fourth, and lines number three is demonstrating your impact with statistics. I always say, guys, that if you write a bullet point where it can be quantified and you don't quantify it, you're sort of like just delegitimizing yourself because I always say this: imagine there's two people did the exact same role. One said, let's say they both worked on the shop floor supporting customers. One said I worked on the shop floor providing advice to customers to ensure an excellent customer experience. And so other person wrote, I served up to 50 clients staying on the shop floor, providing advice to them, reflected in a 92% customer satisfaction rating. Person two did the exact same job as person one, but they've now used two statistics. Firstly, number of people they served. Secondly, their satisfaction rating score. That number stand out a lot more stronger in comparison to person one, even though they did the exact same role. So always try and make sure you have statistics you can use to try and quantify the impact you've done. That makes you so much more of a stronger applicant. And then lastly, extracurriculars. So in any sort of strong CV I see out there, and I've reviewed hundreds of CVs, having some sort of having a very strong extracurricular activities part always helps you stand out in terms of being well-rounded because everyone has good grades. Everyone's sort of done good A levels, got a good degree. Why you? Do you play a certain instrument? Have you got your own sort of side business? Did you play some sort of sports to a high level? Have you volunteered in some sort of environment? Do you take part in some sort of case competition or some sort of national competition? What about you makes you sort of stand out in comparison to everyone else that shows you to be well-rounded? But yes, if I sort of always say, guys, if I take away again, like what should a CV have? What are the sort of five key things you should have? These are the five things here. So this etches into your brain, and this will help you again, not help you navigate the process of writing strong CVs. Now, I've spoken about essentially what the sort of key features are, but what should your CV layout actually look like? Well, here I've got in front of me now is what I would call a very strong structured layout you should use for your CV. No worries if you can't get this, I'll probably share it with actually I'm pretty sure Beyond Education have loads of them anyway, but I'm happy to share this template as well if needed. Um so let's go through why I think this should be your why this is a standard CV layout and why I think you should use this layout. So firstly, straight away at the top, name, below which have your mobile, email, LinkedIn. Keep it simple, keep it straightforward. Now, first up should be education. I always say, hey, if you just have your university, maybe A levels. If you've got really, really good GCSEs, cool, we can throw it in there. That's perfectly fine. But I always say have it very structured like that. So if universities have university there, your degree, I always say try and pick out 2 to 3 relevant modules that you've done. So let's say you studied, okay, I'm gonna be quite boring here. Let's say you studied economics and you want to apply for banking. I know that's quite boring, but let me just go with that. Maybe you should pull out econometrics because it shows you have strong numerical skill set. You might pull out a financial markets module because again, it relates towards banking. Or you might try and pull out something in regards to like global regulation. Again, it might link to banking. So I would try to say 5 modules that are relevant to what you're looking to apply for. Let's say study something that's quite different. I want to get to banking. Let's say you might have studied I don't know, computer science, or you might have studied chemical engineering. That's a really good example. Usually, most degrees will have some sort of statistical element or statistical module that you'll be doing. I always try and say pull out those sort of statistical modules on your CV to sort of demonstrate you have the strong numerical skill sets they're looking for. And sometimes I would say as well, like if you have a dissertation that's relevant, got high marking, put it there as well. Next up, school again, quite straightforward, guys. Grades. If you have some sort of like experience, put it maybe like a prefect, something like that, head boy, head girl, put it there as well. Keep it simple. And lastly, so you don't have to put your GCSEs there, but I always say if you did really well in them, I always say put them there because it sort of show again that idea of across GCSEs, A levels, university, you got high marks, you got good grades. It to sort of help you sort of stand out as well, but that's not necessary. Next part is professional experience. So look into the box on the right hand side. First bullet point there I put there is any experience can work. So in this section here, don't try and take off experience because you think it might not be relevant, especially if you haven't got a lot of experience anyway. What I will always say is, guys, is any experience you have can work if you know how to sort of pull out what I say is the most important part, which is transferable experience, transferable skills. So if it's spring weeks, if it's internships, if it's retail experience, if it's virtual internships, it's a section where you put it on. And again, I said in bullet point two, focus on highlighting the transferable skills from the experiences to put in this section here. I always say for good measurement point is 3 bullet points /4, rarely go to 5. What I would say is like if you have like maybe 2 experiences, one was longer than the other, let's say one was like 3 months and one was like 2 weeks. Of course, one of 3 months, you might have 4 or 5 then, and one of two might only be two. But for like on average, try to keep it sort of 3 to 4 bullet points. And again, just sort of focus on putting the most relevant stuff there. After that is skills and qualifications. So in that section there, what I was trying to say is have three parts to it. So firstly, skills. So you have what you call technical skills, which is like your software, your programming, or your sort of like data analysis, or your sort of software skill, any sort of software you use, or any sort of like modeling skills. Then you have what you call your functional slash soft skills. That's like communication, time management, um, stakeholder management, teamwork, etc. If you have any sort of courses or certifications, put them there as well, and always put the month and date you completed them as well in brackets. And then lastly, languages. So that can also be quite helpful, especially for certain industries. If you're sort of bilingual, multilingual, especially like if it's in languages that you know that the company you're looking to apply for operates within, aka HSBC are global, so they're probably if you're able to sort of speak some European languages or speak some sort of languages from Asia, that may help you out as well. So again, put them there as well. And then lastly, extracurricular. So again, I was trying to say keep it to maybe like two, maybe maximum three roles here. Again, very succinct, 1 to 2 bullet points for each one. First one should be on like what you did, responsibility. Second one, some sort of impact. So let's say, for example, one of them is about athletes. Bullet point one could be like student athlete, right? In what in X track and field, where I balance it alongside my academics. Then bullet point two could be um competed for Bucks University where I came first place in my event, something like that. Very simple like that. And that's essentially the structured layout. But as you guys can sort of see here, guys, everything is consistent. The dates are on the same place, they're all aligned. Spacing is always all aligned and it's consistent. I've used a very simple format. It's very easy to read. The key thing here is you want to make it as easy to read as possible for the recruiter, for the person reviewing the hiring manager, person reviewing your actual CV. So this is what I would probably say is an optimal standard CV layout. Um, cool, perfect. Now, next part. So I structured this more. I'm thinking about what would students struggle with the most. Or we've got a question. Should we answer some questions now, Demi, or should we wait to the end?
Close through, or we can wait till I can collect them and wait till the end. Depends on what you want to do.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Wait to the end. Sorry, Jamil.
I'll collect all of them then.
Perfect, great. So I was gonna ask, how do you use non-corporate work experience in your CV? That's something that usually a lot of students will have. A lot of students may not have corporate work experience, but what I would tell you that it's actually very relevant and actually, contrary to popular belief, you can actually secure top internships while having corporate experience. I've helped dozens of students get into banking, insurance, lots of roles with just non-corporate work experience. So, like, what is the key part? Well, the key part here actually is what I call is demonstrating transferable skills. In a lot of roles that you do outside of the corporate world, you'll be using certain skills which are very much relevant for the corporate world. And those are what I call transferable skills. So I'll give you a quick example here of like what could be seen as a transferable skill. So let's say you did some support as sort of like some more marketing work experience at maybe a small startup or like just a small company, like a high street brand, something like that. So anyone, once you want to apply for like a strategy consultant role, so it's actually based on someone who actually helped break into strategy consulting from a marketing background. So first thing is developing a marketing strategy. So when you're working in marketing, usually the sort of strategy you have to how you want to market your product. So that could be who your target audience, what sort of channels you want to use. You want to be doing it social media or in person, or what sort of channels of social media you want to be using. And also it could be what type of content you want to be. Does it be like videos? Is it more picture content? All that stuff you do when you talk about marketing, that's called developing a marketing strategy. That is straight away transferable towards consulting, because in consulting, when you're sort of doing work for companies, we're also not in strategy consulting, you're developing some sort of strategy for them. So when I used to work in strategy consulting, I'd be helping companies create a pricing strategy or a product strategy or a branding strategy. And the actual process of doing that is very similar. You're just using it in different environments as a transferable skill. Or let's say um when you're working in marketing, it'd be a lot of like market and customer research to sort of know what are the current trends happening right now, what are the best ways to sort of actually reach customers, and how can we implement our marketing approach. That sort of skill is called market research, customer research. That again is very transferable for strategy consulting, where most of the time you're sort of doing some sort of like strategy for a client. The first thing you're gonna do is do market research. What's the market looking like? How fast the market growing. Um, so those sort of things there are looking about, okay, who are our customer targets, who's our customer base, and breaking them down. So again, that's a transferable skill from marketing to consulting. Third one is in marketing campaign, when you're a marketing assistant, you're gonna be analyzing marketing campaign data. So what was our reach? How many clicks do we have per post? What was our customer acquisition cost? Those all those sort of like marketing campaign data statistics. You're gonna be analyzing it to sort of see insights into your performance. That score again is literally one-on-one consulting. In consulting, most of the time, especially you're junior, gonna be analyzing data and be pulling out insights and putting it into PowerPoint decks. So straight away, very much the same sort of thing, analyzing data, turning into insights. And then lastly, in marketing, usually gonna be having like multiple stakeholders. You'll be having like your client, maybe if you're working at an agency, you might have a client. You also have your internal stakeholders, so maybe your manager, your other colleagues or other departments you're working with. Again, working in consulting, usually you're working usually on a client by client basis. You have your client stakeholders, you have your own MDs, managers, you have your other colleagues you're working with. So again, transferable skills. And this is from like just what I want to sort of show you guys here is how no matter what you've done, it could be something completely different. Marketing and consulting are quite different. However, I sort of showing you guys here four very key transferable skills. So my key takeaway for you guys here, guys, is when you're sort of putting out your experiences, especially when you have non-corporate experience, especially like it's retail, I always try to say is think about what have you done? What skills have I used to do that? Which of those skills are relevant for the roles I'm applying for? And that can help you identify straight away the transferable skills that you have from what you've done that you can use. Perfect. Great. So just to sort of show you guys how true what I'm saying is so true. I've put three roles here too. Sales assistant, bartender, waiter, waitress. And these are like very much retail jobs, right? Non-corporate, etc. But these are raw jobs that for clients that I've worked with have had in their CVs. And you're probably thinking, okay, what skills from here can be used for corporate roles? Or actually, there's quite a lot of skills here that you can use that can be relevant for corporate roles. So let's just go through one or two of them for each one. So let's say you're a sales assistant, right? Working in Next, working in Primark, I don't know, working in any sort of retail store, right? Okay, first thing number one that's really important is ability to work under pressure. Most of the time, especially during busy periods, you have high footfall in the store. You will have hundreds of customers daily, all gonna be asking you questions, who are gonna be asking for solutions, who are gonna ask for it in a quite a fast-paced, time-pressured environment. That ability to work under pressure is very much transferable to the corporate world where you'll also be working under pressure, just in a whole different way. Rather than being customers on the shop floor, it'll be clients. Secondly, working as an office assistant, a really important skill there is ability to problem solve. As I touched on before, most of the time you're gonna be dealing with customer queries. You're also having issues just happening in the store, maybe the lack of stock, or maybe it'll be short people, or might be over a customer in a certain area of the store. You have to adapt your sort of timetables. That ability to essentially be able to sort of like problem solve on the go is transferable for corporate. Think about being a bartender, right? Number one most important skill interpersonal skills. You're literally serving hundreds of customers a night. So again, I need basically to communicate with them, especially in a quite a packed out environment, quite a time pressure environment, is really important. That strong interpersonal skills is needed for corporate. Alongside that as well as attention to detail. Most bartenders probably know off the top of their head 50 to 60 different types of drinks, especially like if it's cocktails, right? They have to know off their head the right measurements, the right ingredients every single time and get it correct, probably doing it hundreds of times per night. That's very strong attention to detail. Again, that sort of skill is relevant and transferable for any sort of corporate role. And think again about being a waiter or waitress, right? Like that's quite a I said quite a demanding role as well. A key skill there is resilience. You need a lot of resilience when working in as a waiter waitress, especially when working in quite an anyways evening time is quite busy. You're serving like multiple tables at once. You're also managing multiple stakeholders. You're managing your customers who are asking for their orders. You're managing the kitchen staff, ensure that the orders are coming out on time. Managing the staff floor as well. So there's um a lot of multitasking you have to do in that role that is transferable for corporate roles. So again, just wanted to show you guys here that don't think because it's non-corporate that it isn't transferable skills. You'll be quite surprised to what you can actually pull out that you can use for that. Perfect. So quickly, I get asked a lot is haven't got any sort of corporate experience. What can I do? Like what can I be doing to help me sort of like develop my CV? I always say there's many things you can do to help develop your work experience section of your CV. First thing I always talk about is university societies. Now, this may not be work experience, but you can put it under extracurriculars, but it's also is very much
Yeah.
valuable or just as valuable as having like a spring week or an insight day. So I always try and tell my clients, the students I work with is try and get into committees of societies. You want to get into banking, join your university finance society, go into the committee, be a president, be a vice president, be a treasurer, be the careers lead or event lead. Why I say it's important, firstly, just status wise, it sort of signals straight away that's okay, high performer. But then second, you're gonna have quite a lot of skills you're gonna be using in that role to sort of put on your CV. If you're president of society, you're probably managing over 100 members. You have to manage basically your committee, so that's leadership skills. You're going to be overseeing, hopefully, the growth of members of a committee. So again, you can talk about maybe running X amount of events, driving increased event attendance, and growing your membership by X%. We're also going to be talking about strong communication skills and stakeholder management skills in trying to get sponsors. So again, that's three skills right there. You can talk about in your CV from just being a president of a society, plus many more. I was trying to say is try and do that. Next thing as well, I'm trying to say as well is really important is virtual work experiences. So there's Bright Network, there's Forage, there's Amplify Me, there's SpringPod. There's enough out there for you to go and actually get some job simulations and from that add it to your CV to help you have some sort of work experience there to talk about and demonstrate the transferable skills. So again, you're looking to get into sort of finance. Something I highly recommend is Amplify Me and Bright Network, but also Springboard and Forage and Brand Network all do all industries. But a very good one is Amplify Me. Most banks will know what Amplify Me is, and they actually look out for a lot of the time on people's CVs. Next, I would say as well is guys, create your own work experience. You don't always have to look for work experience from a company. Create your own, especially when it's for roles where you can actually do the stuff without having to be at a company. So you want to get into marketing, go be a freelance marketer. Help small brands out with their marketing. Offer maybe to volunteer at first before making it more of a paid one. And rather than trying to wait for a company to give you a marketing internship, you know, go do some for some small brands, some digital marketing and develop your own work experience. Let's say you want to get into like asset management. Okay, you didn't get an internship, go start your own portfolio, go write your own investment memo, go start a blog to write about financial markets. These are sort of ways you can actually develop your own sort of work experience by doing it yourself, allowing you to develop the skills, but more importantly, show it on your CV. Lastly, is things like sort of like student-led programs. So a lot of like student-led programs which are tailored towards students to actually give you experience. So quite a popular one is called 180D, so 180 degrees. That's for consulting. To basically you actually do like real life example consulting projects with local companies. You have your consultancy, you've got law programs, you've got volunteering. So at university, if you look around societies or look around your university's faculties, you actually can find a lot of programs for work experience. It may not be as fancy, but it's still valuable. And again, it adds to your CV. And then lastly, externships. They're sort of falling out of favor now. I don't really recommend them that much, but they can be helpful. But they're usually quite short nowadays. So I won't touch that one too much. But the first four definitely are really important for you guys to actually help sort of get the work experience to then put on your CV. Perfect. Great. So next one, bullet points. So probably the most important part of your CV or the most important skill in your CV is how do you actually structure and write your bullet points? It's in my eyes, it's probably the most hardest skill to actually develop because there isn't always a right answer. There's a way you should follow, but even with that as well, it varies by your experience, by what you've done, and ability to adapt it. However, as I just say, there's usually a structure you can follow to help you actually write strong bullet points. What I always say that let students down when it comes to writing CVs for application is that you might have experiences, you might have like really valuable experiences, really cool experiences, but what you've done and what you show on your CV are usually two different things. Students struggle quite a lot to actually translate their experiences into bullet points that demonstrate transferable skills, that demonstrate impact, that demonstrate value add. So, how do you actually go about writing strong bullet points that are concise, impactful, and results driven? So, essentially, team members you can use. The first one, what I like to use, I made it up, but I probably didn't make it up. But this is what I've always said: is the action verb description impact method. So, what I always try and say is start off with number one, action verb. Always start your bullet point with action verb. That could be demonstrated, increased, streamlined, um, managed, oversaw, etc. Always start off with a strong action verb. Second, never start with the word like I or I did X, Y, Z. So don't say I oversaw, just say you oversaw. or I led, just say led. Always try to refrain from using the I on your CV. Second part is describe the task you did. So what did you do? You led a team of five to complete a project. You analyze some quantitative data to put out insights. You oversaw the structure of the floor layout. Explain quite succinctly what was the task that you did and completed. And the last part of your structure for your bullet point should be okay, what was the value impact? Highlight that value the impact that that task did. So, did it help increase revenue? Did it help increase football? Did it help reduce the processing time to do a task? Did it help and it unlock insights for decision making? Always try and highlight the value impact you had, and always try, if possible, to quantify it. And the second method I want to talk about is what I call is the Google X writing method. So essentially, that's something that's coined by Google for writing bullet points, which essentially is did X using Y, which led to Z. Basically similar to the one above, but it's a bit more shorter. So you did X by doing leveraging Y skill or doing Y, which resulted in me doing some sort of Z, which resulted in Z. So that's the outcome. So it's quite similar is what you did for what skill, which is Y, which led to what outcome, which is Z. So if you have that sort of mindset around a bullet point is having either one of those two, that should usually lead to writing quite strong, concise, but more importantly, impact for bullet points that demonstrate skills, number one, and secondly, demonstrates impact and value add. So here's a few examples below to sort of show you guys what I mean. So let's go through a few. So what we've got here. So start the first one. So analyze straight away, number one, action verb. Sales data to identify insights into fast-selling products. Number two, so yeah, straight away, describe the task. What did I do? Identified insights into fast-selling products, which informed the recommendation of real in the store layout. So get that also number two. So sometimes number two might be a bit longer, it might have two parts to it. But most importantly, results in a 10% monthly increase in sales. Number three, highlight the value slash impact you had. So there, straight away, you can sort of see the structure of action verb, describe the task that you did, and then highlight the impact that or the outcome it had from that. Second bullet point there is develop straight away action verb, marketing content strategy for an e-commerce client, conducting market research on customer trends. Number two, describe the task that you did, market research on customer trends. To develop a multi-channel digital marketing plan, resulting in a 30% increase in followers and 10% increase in engagement within a 3 month time frame. Boom, number three, highlighting the impact he had. That could arguably even be more concise and more shorter, but at the end of the day, right, it's hit all the three parts of action verb, describe the task completed, highlight the impact it had. And the last one, so like a retail job, supported up to 50 plus customers daily on the shop floor. So again, supported show action verb. Understanding customer needs to provide tailored product recommendations. Problem number two, task completed and upsell opportunities, reflecting a 95% sales target success rate. Boom, number three, highlight the impact value you had. So as you guys can sort of see here, we're pretty much always follow the same sort of structure or pros in terms of action verb. What was the task slash skill you used, done? What was the outcome? And if you follow this sort of structure, you're always going to hit what they're looking for because recruiters have this mindset. They want to look at bullet points thinking, number one, what skills are they showing this bullet on these bullet points? Are they relevant? And what outcome impact did it have in their different jobs? If you can hit all those three things, a recruiter is more than likely to like your CV than not to like your CV. So then following this format here, very clearly shows to them what they're looking for on your bullet points, and that's making it a lot stronger for when it comes to writing your bullet points. But yeah, hopefully this is quite clear and quite simple for you guys. But again, if I say taking away from this, guys, is structure, action verb, describe the task that you completed, highlight the outcome, the value, the impact that you had, and use that sort of structure. You should be more or less fine when it comes to writing your bullet points. Perfecto. So again, just want to sort of show you guys a few examples of what I mean by this. So what have I got here? I've got 4 bullet points for you guys. So lesson side is sort of like what I'd say is before. So I've taken them from CVs from previous clients that I've used, who just sort of like what they put there initially. So, but I won't read from them all, but I'll just look at them, guys. Just look at the left hand side. They're very much prescriptive. There's no sort of quantifying of data. There's no sort of structure towards it. But on the right hand side, you guys can sort of see here is one structure of first thing, action verbs, built, demonstrated, led, conducted. Secondly, describe the task completed. So whether it was providing recommendations, it was providing timely service, it was gathering customer feedbacks, unearthing insights, or it was handling transactions. And then the last part was, as you see for all of them, is outcomes, quantifying your impact. So 110% sales target success rate, 90% customer satisfaction rating, 30-point increase in our NPS score, 5,000 plus transactions dealt with zero errors. So again, it's a sort of structure there that you've sort of taken the left hand side, and all I've really done is just use the structure, and I've turned it into right hand side. They're all saying the same things, but right hand side is a lot more stronger because it's actually touching on, is actually pulling out skills you've used, and most importantly, it's pulling out impact, the value you've had. Perfect. Great. Hope that was clear for everyone. So next part, we want to go through some example CVs. So I've put out some CVs for you guys to quickly look at. Again, just sort of let me know when you can sort of see the PDF document. Actually, Demi, you let me know. Can you see it?
I can see it.
Perfect. Great. So I'm gonna pull out a few of them. So taking a few different CVs out here. I'll think about the ones I'll use. So which ones probably look best to use? These are all real life CVs of clients who we've been able to get jobs in different industries. At the top, just put the industry they've been able to get a job in. I'm going to show you
Use
guys.
the insurance one.
Yes, it's using the insurance one. Actually, great example. Yes, this is a really good one on my favorite client. So this client is so let's go through this one on the right hand side. So this client got a graduate scheme at a global insurance company as an underwriter. Um, but what I love about her CV, if you look at all her experiences, guys, what do you see? Nothing corporate there. Worked at airport, worked as a barista, and then she was also a tutor. So like from the get go, you're probably thinking, oh well, she's got a lot of experiences, but she's still working at one of the leading insurance companies as an underwriter. So how was she able to do that? So let's go sort of go through her CV and sort of see what I said. So straight up first, guys, is structure and layout. So again, consistent, easy, simple format layout. As a recruiter, if I look at a CV, I can very quickly see the relevant information I want to see. I can see her grades very clearly. I can scan down, see experiences. It's laid out, is the space in between. It lets the page breathe. Skills and qualifications, hard skills, perfect. Insurance, share membership, great. And she's done another course for insurance empowered development, great. Extracurriculars, again, very simple to sort of read. So straight away, I'm not bombarded with too much words on a page and being allowed to breathe. Secondly, we'll go through her work experience. So education is quite straightforward, but again, what did I say, guys, about what did I say in the second slide? I said relevant modules. So when it comes to your degree, so she studied law. So you want to get into insurance. So what's relevant for insurance from law? So contract law, very, very important for insurance when it comes to policies. International economics, again, something more financial services based. And third one, financial regulation, again, very important for insurance when it comes to your policies you're taking out. And then put her sixth form, and then again high school to put out some of the good grades, but nothing crazy, right, in regards to her education. But let's sort of go to our work experience. This is where sort of the magic is. So if you look at every single bullet point on her CV across all of them sort of start with the same structure as employed, utilized, leveraged, demonstrated, displayed, developed. So again, they all leveraged action verbs to kick out their bullet points. Again, it just makes the bullet points so much more powerful and sound on the right tone. Secondly, for her, what we would have to, okay, you haven't got a lot of work experience, but from what you do have, can we demonstrate the transferable skills from all of them for your underwriting role? So I said, how can we do that? So usually I wouldn't always say to do this, but in her case, I would sort of highlight very clearly the relevant experiences. So we said employed research skills. We said you utilize my analytical skills, leverage interpersonal negotiation skills. Bullet point four, demonstrated attention to detail numerical skills. So we actually signposted at the front straight away what skill we're going to talk about in the bullet point. So it made it quite clear to the recruiter or the hiring manager what skills would demonstrate on each bullet point. That made it very easy for them to sort of see the transferable skills from a sales advisor towards insurance. And then what did we do? We used a job description. So when we were building out the CV, went to job description, what were they asking for? They were asking for strong research skills, strong analytical skills, ability to negotiate and build relationships, and strong attention to detail when it comes to reviewing policies. So you made sure that what they were asking from the job description was actually put onto the CV They couldn't deny it. Again, another important thing for the first one is quantifying the figures. So bullet point two, quantified her impact. So she exceeded her soul target by 20% in the first month. So again, she's a strong starter. Bullet point three, she had an 80% success rate in hitting her monthly soul target while she was there. Again, sort of showing again a high performance. When it came to handling cash transactions, we said £6,000. So again, we quantified how much she was handling weekly. And then also how she was able to reduce errors by 5%. So straight away, we're able to do that. So again, you can sort of see again that we're quantifying her experiences to demonstrate her being a strong impact. But look, part two, barista. So this is actually quite a funny one. So I actually said at the time that this could be a lot better, but it still works. So what I'm gonna do here, guys, to sort of show you is again same sort of thing where we used the same sort of format of like action verbs. We highlighted the key transferable skills and what she did. But this could even be better. Now this one could even be better barista. So I said she managed put up one about managing transactions. I said £1,000. I could have said maybe £4,000 or £5,000. That's even better. And then as I said, make sure that it matched with transaction figures in the system. That could be turned into 0% error rate. So again, sort of showing how I could even quantify that better. Bullet point two, I said demonstrate ability to work under pressure on the busy shop floor. I got to quantify that. How many customers does she usually have during rush hour? Maybe I was up to 50, 60, 70. Again, that's how I could even make this bullet point even better by again, quantifying the amount of customers she handled during peak hours. And then last one, leveraging teamwork with schools and collaborating with colleagues. So again, providing quick service, how can I demonstrate that through customer review scores? I could put that there as well. So this isn't even a perfect bullet point section. I can make it even better. But regardless of that, again, it's sort of showing to the recruiter, signposting to them the relevant skills she's had from being a barista that are relevant for the role she's applying for. And then lastly, again, I did her being a violin tutor. So again, key things here, guys, again, is transferable skills. So across every single experience, I put out interpersonal skills 3 times. I pulled out again her communication skills 3 times. So again, I'm really sort of highlighting the relevant skills from all of her experiences that I'm pulling out for the role she's applying for. Next part is skills and qualifications. So here, what I did again is that I kept it very niche to role she's applying for. I could have put tons of like skills in like communication, time management, but if I've used those words in the bullet points, I then need to put them again in the skill section. Here, I focus more on what was relevant for the role she's applying for. So she's done Bloomberg Markets concepts, she's done a financial modeling course, and she's a bit of X analysis course. So I said, okay, put that here. Why? Even though it's insurance, it demonstrates to the recruiter you have strong numerical skill sets or strong understanding of numbers to sort of stand out. She was also signed up to the CII membership. So again, for insurance, that's a relevant certificate for insurance. So a key takeaway, guys, is whatever role you're applying for, think about okay, what could I do to help me stand out? So if it's the HSBC, and you're looking to apply for maybe one of their the asset management streams, go and do a Bloomberg Market Concepts course. Go do a CFI FMVA course. Go do an Amplify Me course and put it in your hard skills section. And then lastly, extracurriculars, guys. I said it before, guys. It's so important. In that interview, they asked her about it. So we put there again how she was head of strings. Again, just sort of again putting out some relevant skills of time management, organizational skills, etc. So I put for time, I won't go over that, but essentially, guys, sort of show you everything I've gone through today. I've sort of showed you it here on the CV. So strong layout, consistent formatting, sales advisor, um, again highlighted the transferable skills, quantified it, um, good skill section, extracurriculars, helped to sort of stand out. But yeah, that's everything in regards to CVs. So cover letters, I'll run through it very, very quickly. We're gonna have questions and then that's it. So cover letters, I'm gonna be very, 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 very simple with you guys. They're boring, they're actually not that hard. So I'm gonna take you through what you need to do for your cover letters in like 2 minutes. Number one, gonna be 3 paragraphs. Why this role, paragraph one? Why this firm, paragraph two? Why you, paragraph three? So what you need to do is have on your sub cover letter to always be 3 paragraphs in this format. Why this role? Talk about why this role stand out, why you want this role, why this role aligns with you. So here I've put a few things. It could be like accommodate your skills and personality. So let's say you're studying maths at university, and you're doing trading. Talk about how that aligns with your numerical skill set and your analytical skill set. Or maybe what about the division stood out to you? Again, just highlighted there. Second one, why this firm? I put 5 things here. pick three out of these five things and talk about it. So maybe talk about the company size. So if it's a multinational company, talk about your the exposure to global deals or global network. If it's a boutique company, talk about how you can have a lot of exposure to senior members, a lot more responsibility early on, a lot of more of a flat structure, I guess, allowing you to sort of progress quicker. Then next thing to always talk about is like company values, kind of already know about that. But another key thing is company awards performance. Go on to the annual report, look at the financial performance. How have they performed? Have they grown year on year? Have they not grown year on year? Are they growing maybe in certain geographies year on year? Are there certain product lines that are growing faster than others? Are they growing faster than the competitors? Highlight it, put in your cover letter for why this firm. Fourth one there is M&A strategy. Again, go to the financial, go to annual report. The first 5 pages will be one of the CEOs talking about their strategy. Pick one or two things he talks about under strategy, put it on your cover letter. And last one, CSR. I think everyone knows what CSR is, like all the environment, diversity stuff. Let me pick it out. Last part, why you? Very, very simple. What you do is go to the job description, take those sort of three or four skills they put there, then for each school, talk about how you have it and give an example for how you used it. So maybe you'd be like, they ask for like strong analytical skills on the job description. Say, I believe I'm a candidate for to my strong analytical skills. This is demonstrated by doing X, Y, Z. Furthermore, my strong communication skills will allow me to thrive in this role. I was able to leverage the school doing ABC, which led to X outcome. So again, just go to the job description, take those skills they ask for, and explain how you have those skills. Because if you have those skills, that shows why they should hire you. That essentially should be a why you section. Um, and that's it. Usually for most roles, why this role and why you shouldn't change. If you're applying for the same role with different companies, all that will change is why this firm when you change between each company. And that's cover letters for you. I know we've got time for Q&A, so I want to kind of get through to Q&A, but that sort of wraps up cover letters. If you have any sort of question in regards to that, I want to open up Q&A now. So
Definitely.
let you guys
Thank
do
you
that.
so much for such an insightful session. There's so many questions in the chat, anyways. So let us start off. Let us backtrack a little bit from the cover letters, backtrack to CVs. A personal question, preference question. Do we need personal profile sections at the beginning of the CVs? And if we do, how many words max should we use?
Great question. So I usually don't use them. I don't think for a student of you need them. Why I say that is that that section is essentially used for mainly for people to demonstrate, basically to summarize and highlight one or two key experiences they have, or so some sort of expertise that they have. They would hammer to sort of see up front. But because you're a student, you don't have any sort of expertise right yet. You have no got any sort of experiences to actually pull it out for. Therefore, I think your time that space is best used for bullet points. So I don't think you need to have one personally. If you have one, maximum 3 lines. Never go more than 3 lines. But ideally, use that space more productively for bullet points on your work experience or extracurriculars.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Another thing people talk about a lot, I know we've spoken about quantifying, but some people say they still can't quantify. They don't know what to quantify, they don't know how to quantify. What would you say it should be the first step in being able to just put pen to paper in terms of quantifying people's experiences?
Really, really good question. And again, so one thing I would try and say is think about your job, any job you had, think about how am I actually measured in this job? Like maybe your half year review or your end of year review or monthly review, how they actually measure my performance. That is your content. That's what you use to quantify it. So let's say you're a sales associate, right? At like Harrods, you're measured on hitting your sales targets every month. That's your what you're gonna quantify in your CV, hitting your sales target. Or let's say you worked as a waiter um on a restaurant, right? You're gonna be charged um on your maybe like revenue per table or on speed of service or customer reviews. That's what's gonna be your quantifying. So basically, think about in my role, how do they quantify my performance? What are the sort of KPIs? Those KPIs should usually be the main thing you use to now doing that. Sometimes you won't be able to quantify it, and that's fine. Don't force it for the sake of it. What I say, rather than quantifying, say what it allowed. Sometimes it may not have a quantification, but it might allow the individual to do something more efficiently, or might allow you to pull out certain insights for decision making. But yeah, KPIs. I thought the main things I'd say.
Perfect, perfect. Another question is it best to highlight soft skills like teamwork, collaboration, or technical skills like data analysis and Excel? Like, where is the balance? Is there a balance? And if so, how do people start to balance these things?
So rather than see it as like a balance, see it as like what they're looking for in the job description. Each job requires different levels of balance between soft and technical skills. Depending on the role you're applying for, that should be reflecting in your CV. If you're applying for a trading role, that is very much more geared towards technical skills. But if you're applying for a relationship management role, that's geared a lot more towards soft skills. So again, figure out the role you're applying for and base the balance of what they're looking for. You want to reflect the type of role you're applying for.
Definitely, definitely. So I know a couple of people are here as well, especially for HSBC, but they can also take these experiences outside of the HSBC application. Now, one question is it okay to leave experience gaps in your CVs? And if so, do they need to explain these gaps, or is that something that is just understood by hiring managers?
Um, you're gonna be annoyed at me. It depends. It's the answer, and that's not the best answer. So like, if it's like you got like, so let's say I'm assuming you've probably graduated now. You're saying this and worked for 3 years. Let's say you got like a year without work, without no sort of work. Like, I would just so if it's like you didn't work for a year, then you found a new job. I wouldn't need to explain it. It'd be more a thing of if they ask you, just be like you're looking for like how managers aren't stupid, so like they can kind of put two and two together, like, okay, maybe they're out of work for a while. They're not gonna necessarily hold it against you per se. I guess where things might look wrong is when you've had like 5 jobs in like 1 month, 1 year. That's where things will look wrong. So if you've got like a bit of a gap between like your experiences, I would say like don't pull it up. Just sort of like write a CV in terms of like your experiences you have. If they do have questions in regards to it, they will ask you it. But more often than not, they'll probably put two and two together and work out you might have been out of work for a time looking for a new job, etc. Like, yeah, they're emotionally intelligent hire managers. So they're not gonna like um they're not gonna be too insensitive to understand the situation at hand.
Next question is, should I copy and paste word for word the keywords from the job description to my CV or cover letter?
Um I mean, yeah, use their terminology, but don't just copy and paste it across. Like, make it weave it into your bullet points and your sentences. So like, don't make it so obvious that you just copy and paste it. But yes, use their terminology and use their words in your CV and in their cover letter.
Yeah, like just to add to what Abolade just said, you're trying to tell a story here, you know, so you're not trying to just lift words and just apply it to your CV and cover letter. You need to weave it into your story. So now let's move on, going on to cover letters. If a job doesn't ask you for a cover letter, should you still provide one regardless?
I mean, you don't ask one, then no, like save your time. Yeah, I wouldn't ask one. If it's like sometimes they might be like optional. I hate when they say optional. I'd rather just say give me one or not. If they are optional, I would say if we really want that role, do a really quick short one. If you don't mind too much, then you don't have to do one. But yeah, if you don't ask one, don't need to give one.
Looking at the questions that we have in the chat as well. What would you say, in your opinion, apart from everything we've spoken today about formatting and bullet points, what are the common mistakes that are made on CVs that make recruiters just automatically reject applications?
Surprisingly, so there's two key ones. First one is just like basic spelling errors. And why I say that's so important, right, is because it just shows like it reflects your attention to detail. Like if you can't spend the time to like double check your CV to make sure there's no spelling mistakes and stuff, then it's sort of like why should they like hire you for the role? So like I know it sounds so simple, guys, but please like double check, triple check, like put out your CV and look at it because someone what I say is don't give them a reason to throw a CV in the bin and that's giving them a reason for this even in the bin. So yeah, guys, simple spelling mistakes and spelling errors. And secondly, touching before, like sometimes students see me be very prescriptive. So you sort of just list what you've done. Like recruiters want to see what schools have you done in your experiences. That's what they care about. They don't really care what it was, whether it's in a as an agency worker or if you worked in a in a bank. Like obviously that's helpful, but like what skills have you done? Have you used? That's what they want to see to make sure you're really pulling out skills you've leveraged in your different job experiences. And a lot of times students don't do that. They make it quite prescriptive.
Looking up to more questions that people are dropping into the chat as well. So I think this question says, what transferable skills can we include? I think that can, I mean, from your point, Agulade, what kind of key transferable skills do you think recruiters are looking for?
Again, it depends on the role you're applying for, right? So
Mhm.
I always say the job description is literally should be your Bible. Like it
Yeah,
has everything they're looking for. Like companies will put everything they want from a candidate on the job description. So when you want to know what sort of transferable skills you need or hard skills, it will be on that job description. So there isn't like a like a standard list of ones you have for every role. Each role is different. Even within like one company, in different departments will have different requirements. Therefore, use that JD to help you identify what the transferable skills are looking for and put that on your CV.
perfect. The last couple of questions. For each job experience, what would you say the recommended amount of bullet points you should include should be?
I try to keep it to 3 to 4 max. But again, it depends on what you've done. If you just spend like 1 week at like a spring week, you won't have three, you might have 2 bullet points. But you spend like a 3 month internship, or if you did like a 1 year placement, you might have five because obviously you've done a lot more stuff. So again, other guys actually took my recruiter at MBB. I went to like a recruitment day in my final year, and I've always taught to these like you should use like emotional intelligence to work out what works best. So like think about it from their point of view. If you have three experiences, one was 1 week long, one was a month long, and one was 6 months long, they shouldn't all be three bullet points each because you've spent different amount of times there. So the one that's 3 months long, 6 months might have five, one that's 1 month long might have like three, and one that's 1 week long might have like one, maybe two. So again, that's what I would say. Use a bit of intelligence to work out based on how long they are, but standard three, maximum four.
Thank you so much, Abolade. So just to round us up, what would you say going forward for applicants, the three main things they need to look out for now going into applications?
Perfect. So three main things, guys, is firstly preparation. Like not to scare you guys, but if I was you, I would have my CV ready now. So that I actually at a point now where your CVs are more or less ready to sort of now when the roles open start firing applications. So preparation really important. So start getting rid of that now. Secondly is when it comes to applications, most importantly is tailoring the CV. So why approach I would say is have like a master CV that has like everything done. And then let's say what I recommend is you should be quite targeted. Let's say you have two or three roles, is have three versions of that master CV for each one you're applying for. Let's say you want to apply for accountancy roles, you want to apply for consulting roles, you want to apply for banking roles. I have a Film Agbolade CV master, Agbolade CV accounting, Agbolade CV banking, Agbolade CV consulting, and use that across the different roles for that ones. So again, having tailored CVs, and then the third thing I'd say, guys, is on your CV, make sure it marries job description. So I always say, guys, is take a pen, put out the job description, and then have like a little checklist. If you can tick off each bullet point on the JD from going through your CV, or at least sorry, 80% of it, you're more or less there. If you're not able to tick off at least half of it, your CV isn't tailored enough. Your CV isn't structured enough. So that's my advice for you guys. Yeah. Um, I got probably a couple more slides to share quickly. Is that right, Demi? Or if I can do
Let's
that.
go on.
So people ask, I know probably people have asked about resources. So we're actually releasing some new resources, cover letter template packs and CV template packs later this week or next week, through our actual community channel. So it's a newsletter on Substack. So if you do want to get involved in sort of our newsletter, so we do like career advice newsletters and then also ones in regards to resources every week. So you can sign up from that there. But then also more importantly, if you actually want to sort of find me anywhere, here are my sort of like contact details. So my email's right there, LinkedIn, TikTok's there as well, Instagram. And we also have like a lot of services. So if you need some support with your CV service, your CV, we have like CV writing services. What I'd say is go to our Instagram or just go to our website or email us. And we can help you with your CV as well if you do need that help. But yeah, um, that's what you hopefully that was helpful for all of you.
Thank you so much, Agolade. And as I've also put into the chat as well, at Beyond Education, we also have a career suite free CV and cover letter templates that has gone through jobs, internships, all of that available, free resources from both us and for perspectives as well. So please, 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 before you apply, use all the opportunities and all the resources available onto you. Thank you so much, Abolade, for coming to today's session. Thank you, everyone else, for joining in. And we hope to see you at the next one, guys. Have a lovely evening. Thank you.
Perfect. Bye all.